Here in Anacortes at the Cap Sante Marina, and I'm here for the boat show. I'm going to go see this guy that does our thruster that we're interested in. So let's go have a look at the boat show. Well, all right, I walked around the boat show. It's not ginormous. There's a lot of boats here, but nobody wants you to go on the boats. They're all $3 or $4 million Nordhavens, and all the little ones and stuff are locked up. Anyway, I did meet my guy that's got the thrusters, and I talked to a school that teaches you how to drive your boat and how to navigate around the inside passage, which might not be a bad idea. I haven't really got pricing from them. I stopped in the Anacortes Marine office and talked about moorage, and they're on 2 to 3 year waiting list, just like everyone else. So if you're listening out there, Jeannie, if somebody's rubbing your lamp, we need twice as many slips in the Puget Sound area as there is now. I think you could fill them up on day one. It seems like every place has waiting list. And the guy in front of me, I think he must have had a big yacht, because he was saying he was on the list for like 4 years. So I'm not sure what's going to happen when we get kicked out of that slip. The gal I talked to one gal, and she gave me a card for the moorage coordinator and said, you know, as you get closer, maybe talk to them people, see if they wouldn't work something out. Maybe there's another sublease I could take over or something. But anyway, yeah, my future is still looking a little uncertain beyond March of next year in terms of where I'm going to be. But I'm going to kick around up here in this area a little bit, maybe look at some other marinas. I think there's 2 here in Anacortes. That might not be a bad idea to stop in and have a chat with the other one. So I'll look on the map, see if I can find that and do that, and then probably head back and eat some lunch somewhere and pick up the dog and get back to cleaning the boat up. Well, since we struck out at the boat show, I'm here in Anacortes at the campground at the end of the pier, end of the point, and I'm on the scenic loop drive around the thing, and it looks to me like on the weekends this is probably wall-to-wall people. That's kind of up around where we're at now, at Shoal is, but today, oh my gosh, got the place to ourselves for the most part. So gotta love it up here, don't you? Little layer of fog laying on the water way over there. I love it. Dead tree, very scenic. In the distance we can hear the sound of the ferry. So the ferry takes off just kind of around that point and goes out to San Juan Island and Orcas Island, and we've done that. Last time we were up here, Gray and I camped out on San Juan Island, and we'll do that again. That was a great trip. But now I'm gonna swing back around, so this road loops around, and there's another marina back over there on the other side, so we'll stop in there and have a chat with them, see if the situation's the same. I don't have any reason to believe it would not be. Everybody seems to be going, yeah, there's a 1 to 2 year, well, at least 2 year probably waiting list everywhere. And when I go, seems like that's like that everywhere, they go, yep, it is. So it seems like it's like that everywhere. Now let's just see where this little path takes us here. Right down here. Man, give you a gentle look around here. Working on the boat a lot up here, and not really going anywhere yet. And coming up here and driving around today around Anacortes certainly reminds me why I came up here, or wanted to come up here to the Pacific Northwest, because well, this I mean, it's beautiful at every corner. Now I'm looking again, we're going to come around in a little bit and we'll wind up back down on the other end of this point where we'll see that marina, that second marina. But I'm just looking out here, tide's moving one way or the other, and I don't know if you can see it, but boy, there's some current out there. Right about there, there's a current line. I just saw some seals or something down here in between us and that current line kicking around out there. But yeah, that current's honking right along out there. So therein is the stuff we got to learn about. All right, well, it's time for a quick update. I have a stack of amps down here on the ground, the old ones from before. I have my new pieces of wood all put in. They're not stained and they're not fully trimmed up and dressed up. The bottom edges of them, all this wood in here is rounded, and so I may bring the router back the next time I come back or figure out how to do that. But I think I mentioned before, I'm planning on putting another radio to match the radio that's up on the helm station in here above this helm station. So right up there, in that big empty spot right there, that's destined to get a VHF radio. And then I'll be ready to kind of finalize everything. Now, at this point, my subs down here in the wall are not woofering yet. I think I must have something wrong, or I don't have the head unit properly telling it to send stuff out the sub side to that other amp. But I reached out once to the Garmin Fusion tech support guys, and they're really helpful. So I'll email them again and kind of go, okay, here's what I got. What am I missing here? It is a Friday before heading back to Salt Lake. So the major things I need to get accomplished today are I need to get that bilge pump switch replaced and make sure that's working, not leaving the boat with that not working, even though who knows how long it's not been working. But that's the thing that's supposed to keep the boat from sinking if the water starts to come in, and right now it would not do that. So I'll get that sorted out, put the tools away, tidy up a little bit, and then we'll be ready to call it a week up here, a couple of weeks. Concept with an automatic bilge pump switch is when the switch goes like that, it's supposed to be pumping. Okay, I think I had pretty realistic expectations upon buying a used boat that there would be a few things I'd have to fix up. Essential critical systems, however, not so much. I thought they'd be working. So the bilge pump issue, what I have determined is that down there, I'm in the galley floor opening, see that white tube right about there, and this white wire, well, that white Romex 12-volt wire is what's going up to the bilge switch on the dash. So that's the bilge pump that's turning on. I cannot see any float switch by that. The back one that I've been looking at doesn't appear to have any power to it at all. It's through one of these yellow wires, it's got the yellow braid around it. So the back bilge switch that I've been looking at, it's not even wired up. I'm going to verify that. I'm going to cut both the wires to it. I'm going to chop in a little chunk of wire here and run it directly to the battery for a minute and make sure that the pump is functional. And if so, then I may kind of hot wire the thing for now with my float switch in there, so I know I got a float switch going somewhere. But it's not connected to the switch at the helm. It's not connected to anything as near as I can tell. There's no heat, there's no power to the cable. So I'll fix that, make sure that pump is functional, and if so, we'll get a float switch on it, and that may be where we leave it for right now until we can get it properly situated. So again, I don't mind cosmetic stuff and the stereo and all that, but the bilge pump, come on man, that stuff's got to work. Yeah, just to give you an idea what we got here. So again, this yellow wire is the braided yellow stuff is what's going to this pump that I've been thinking is not working, and I'm sure I'm right, it's not working. So I'm going to hot wire it up. I will cut those connections and make sure none of those wires have any juice to them, and if so, then we'll know the pump's no good, but I don't think they're going to have any power. All right, well, I do have power to that cable, so I have a dead pump. All right, well, it's a couple of hours later, and it's not pretty. It's not the best job, and it's not complete, but we have a working bilge pump with an automatic switch on it now. So I feel way better about leaving the boat overnight or for a couple weeks. I'll tell you what happened. There's the bilge pump in the front is working. The one in the back hasn't worked. The bottom of the bilge is the grossest territory I've ever seen. So what I did is there was a bracket that the old switch was on. So I just put the switch and the new pump on there. And I made sure that the pump, wouldn't run dry. If it drops down, shuts off, it should be just fine. I tested it a couple times. So pump's on. It's hooked to an existing discharge outlet on the port side of the boat. The other one discharges to the starboard. So yeah, I bought like a gallon of bilge cleaner at West Marine, and it says you can just dump it in the bilge and leave it there while you're boating and let it agitate and do its thing. I dumped about a quart or so into that sludge at the bottom, and I'll let that sit for a while. I think what I'll do is I will bring back, when I come back, a vacuum, a wet dry shop vac. I have two at home, so I can bring my little one here, and we'll turn it to the wet side, and we'll pump that gooey shit out of there, and it's just nasty. And then we'll get that cleaned out once and for all, and then I can mount the pump back down to the bottom of the thing and kind of rearrange the switch where I want it. So, but for right now, while it's not going to pump us dry, there's about an inch or so, I'd say, that we could have an inch of water in there. But after that, the pump will kick on, discharge out the side. I have verified that the through hole out there is open, so we should be good. So I think now I'll start buttoning this thing up in prep for heading back to Salt Lake. Always a little frustrating and disappointing when we have to pack our stuff up and head home back to Salt Lake. It's 6:45 on a Saturday. We got the pooch in the back. Not all that happy. She knows that it's a long trip, but we're on our way back to Salt Lake.